Okay, hello. I'm hopefully I'm here now. Can you refresh your page and see if you can see me now? Hopefully you should be able to see me coming through to you now. That's me, yeah. Right. I can see myself. I can hear myself. Alice? I can hear. I've got myself on my tablet and I can hear myself, and so I know that I can hear myself and see myself. So I'm just going to get stuck in because we're running a bit late now, and I do apologize to anybody that may have been waiting to watch this webinar tonight. I had some technical issues around figuring out how to use Google Plus for the first time. So my first Google Hangout, and it wasn't the greatest success. So that'll teach me to practice in future. So I thought I knew what I was doing, and it turned out I didn't. So tonight's webinar is going to be all about sleep and about why we need sleep and about why we don't get enough sleep, what happens to us when we don't get enough sleep, and what we can do to get a little bit more sleep, to get better quality sleep and to take better care of ourselves in that respect. So I decided to do this webinar when I ran a survey a few weeks ago when I asked women various questions about their lives. And I realized that a huge majority of the women who answered my questionnaire weren't getting very good sleep. I think it was the last count, it was 85% of people who responded. So out of about 25 respondents, 85% of those people reported that they hadn't had enough sleep, or they'd woken up feeling exhausted in the last week. Now, I don't believe that that is particular to that week and that that is particular to that women. I think that is indicative of something real that's going wrong with our sleeping as a general sort of trend in our sleeping patterns. I mean, I know that it certainly seems to be a problem that people are experiencing a lot less sleep these days. They're not getting such good sleep. We are very overstimulated and we're not able to unwind properly before we get into bed. So our sleep isn't as relaxed as it should be. So we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. I'm going to talk about what sleep does for us, why we sleep, and why it is so important that we get good sleep. And I'm going to share some techniques that you can use to try and help get better sleep, to try and improve the quality of your sleep, and to try and improve the length of time you sleep if you don't get enough sleep, or to try and improve the quality of your sleep, and to help you to relax a little more. So an introduction to myself, a very brief introduction to myself. My name is Esther Nagel, and I trained to teach yoga a couple of years ago after a breakdown meant that I couldn't carry on with the work I'd been doing. And one of the problems that I'd had for a very long time was that I struggled to sleep. And I dealt with that the way I dealt with all the other problems I had in my life. I got drunk because I reasoned when I was sober, I couldn't sleep very well. But when I was drunk, I had no problems collapsing into bed at the end of the night and falling asleep. But of course, I wasn't actually falling asleep. I was passing out, and passing out drunk does not make for a good night's sleep. So I wasn't really sleeping. I wasn't ever getting a good night's sleep. And I was waking up nearly every day feeling like I could use another night's sleep. And I was using lots of coffee and sugar and fatty foods, chocolate to get me through the day. And then because I was so wired, because I was so full of caffeine and sugar and stress, I would need another bottle of wine to get me through the evening. And that vicious cycle just kept repeating itself over and over and over, until in the end, I was not in a good state, and I had to sort of have a breakdown. I couldn't keep going any longer. So clearly it's not a good thing. I mean, I wasn't getting very good sleep for many reasons, and that everything was taking a toll on my mental health. So what is sleep, first of all? Well, scientists have got a number of different theories about why we actually need sleep, but the sort of overriding theory seems to be that it is our brain's opportunity, is the time when our brain kind of resets itself. It's almost like a reboot for our brain every day. It's our way of, it's the time of day when we process the things that happen to us during the day. So when we you know, whatever goes on in our day, we don't get to deal with it all, because, you know, our senses are taking in so much information throughout the day that we can't process it all. We would go completely mad if we tried to process every bit of information our senses receive. And so it's but it all gets taken in by our subconscious. So when we sleep, that is the time of day when our brain can kind of file it all away, and it decides which bits we need to put where, which bits need to get filed in which parts of our brain. So I mean, it is a fascinating subject, looking into sleep. It's the time when we process what we've learned. There have been studies done that show that people remember stuff better after a night's sleep. They are able to learn more after a night's sleep. You know, they retain what you've learned more. Which is quite funny, because people will. I've often heard friends using the phrase, "Oh, well, I've slept since then," as a reason why they can't remember things, but actually having slept means that you're more likely to remember something. So sleep is a very important, is a vital part in our cognitive functions. It also, it's a time when we're able to process our emotions. You know, I mean, our dreams are our brain's way of processing. It's like watching the filing system in operation, really, where we process our emotions, we process things we've learned, we process our experiences, as well as allowing our bodies to rest. Really rest when we're asleep. Our brains are very busy, but our body rests. So it's almost if the body needs to shut down in order to let the brain get on with its job. So we're not taking in any more new information. We're just allowing the filing team to get to work, unencumbered by other distracting information. Because obviously when we're out and about and we're doing things, we're taking in so much information that the filing team can't possibly work. So it's a bit like a supermarket. The shelf stackers can't really do their job properly when the shop is full of. They have to wait until the shop is shut, and then they go in and stack the shelves. Our brains are a bit like that. I think that's how I've sort of imagined it, is that the shelf stackers, the filing team, go in when everything else is shut down for the night and process. So if we think of it logically, if that's don't in our brains, we're not giving our brains the chance to do those functions, to fulfill those functions at night. So we're not getting the chance to file our memories away. We're not getting the chance to file our experiences away. We're not getting the chance to process information that our brains have received properly throughout the day. So not getting enough sleep takes a very huge toll on our entire being. If we don't get enough sleep, it affects our memory. We don't remember things as well. We're more likely to forget things. It affects our cognitive function. You know, if you don't have a good night's sleep, you can't quite think straight the next day. You can't process information the way that you can when you've had a good night's sleep. You can't work out complicated things. So if your job or your daily activity involves lots of really focused, concentrated brain work, it's really hard to do that if you haven't had a good night's sleep. It impairs every functioning of our brain. It impairs our concentration. It impairs our ability to just see things through. You know, we're more likely to think, oh, I can't do this, and give up, rather than persevering with things. So, you know, we need it for our brains to function properly. Our sleep is needed for the adequate functioning of the brain. It also takes a toll if we don't get enough sleep on our mental health. Now, I'm sure that those of you with children will know this well. You don't get enough sleep, particularly when the children are very small. You might not get enough sleep, and then the next day the children are taking all of your energy all day, and you find yourself getting irritable with them. You don't want to bother with them so much. It's harder to just deal with the everyday things when we're tired. Our brains are tired, so it affects our moods. It affects our ability to deal with other people. So relationships suffer when we don't have enough sleep, and not having enough sleep can lead us into depression as well, because it's easier to focus on the negative aspects of life than on the positives when we're tired. I know that when I'm tired, I get very grumpy, I get very irritable, and I am more likely to cry for no particular reason. Yeah, I think that you'll all identify with that it does make you more sensitive and more emotional if you haven't had enough sleep. And I know that children, we see that in our children, that a tired child is a very grumpy child indeed. Can get upset over absolutely anything, and they need sleep. So as well as our mental health and our cognitive functions, not getting enough sleep takes its toll on our physical health as well. And not just how much energy we have to get through the day. And that is a key aspect of having had enough sleep. But our muscles get tired, our bodies get tired, and we need to rest them. But not getting enough sleep has also been linked to chronic diseases such as heart disease, and diabetes, and Alzheimer's. It also makes us more likely to become overweight, because we turn to food such as sugary foods and junk food, easy processed foods that are just easy to grab something quick that's going to give us that instant boost of energy. You know, the rise in energy drinks, I'm sure, will make its presence felt in our physical and mental health at some point. But, you know, people are relying on those to get themselves going in the morning. I think that is a very worrying trend that we're seeing there, with those energy drinks becoming more and more widespread in their use, and that is bound to be taking its toll on people's sleep. And reliance on that caffeine, then, and those huge boosts of caffeine throughout the day to keep you going, is not healthy. When we're relying on lots of caffeine to get ourselves through the day, that takes a toll on our mental health, because caffeine is such a potent stimulant that puts our body in a state of stress. Now, I know when I drink too much coffee, which isn't as much coffee now as I used to drink on a regular basis, but if I have a few cups of coffee throughout the day, I will feel my heart pounding, and I will feel my arms started tingling. I feel it's like it's a stress response. I feel my body going into stress response. So when we're overly dependent on things like caffeine and sugar to keep us going through the day, we're putting our body in this sort of high stress state, which obviously is going to take a toll on our mental health and our physical health, because stress has an impact on our mental health and our physical health. So getting enough sleep is absolutely crucial for all aspects of our well-being, for our cognitive functions, our physical health, and our mental health. So how much do we need? How much is enough sleep? Now, I don't know. How much sleep roughly would you say you get a night? Do you know how much sleep you get a night? Do you have a sort of an optimum amount of sleep that you get? I always used to think that I needed 7 hours a night, and I structured my days around thinking I needed 7 hours sleep. So I wanted to get up early in the morning, so I would go to bed early at night. I would sleep well. I'd get up in the morning. Some mornings I'd get up bursting with energy, and then other mornings I couldn't get up, and I would hit the snooze button, and I would get up an hour later feeling like the complete failure because I hadn't managed to get up, and not really understanding thinking that there must be something wrong with me, that maybe I'm ill, maybe I'm low in iron, whatever. And then it dawned on me that actually maybe I'm just not getting enough sleep, that maybe me thinking I was needing 7 hours sleep was just a number that I'd read in an article somewhere. And that wasn't the right number for me. I've now tried experimenting with more sleep. When I actually get more sleep and allow myself to sleep longer hours, would you know, I feel better. So I think that my conviction that I needed 7 hours sleep was wrong. Recommended advice is that adults should be getting between 7 and 9 hours sleep. So 7 hours is actually at the lower end of the spectrum of what we should be getting sleep-wise. So I'm now aiming for 8 hours, and I'm going to see where that goes, because I know that I felt better with 8 hours. So maybe 8 hours is going to be right for me. Maybe it's not. We need to at least 7 hours. And 7 hours is the minimum that is recommended for us. Now, I don't know how many people would say that they get 7 hours a night sleep. If you're getting up at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, that means that you need to be in bed by about 11 at night, which is, you need to be asleep by then, which I know some people don't do that. Some people can't do that. It's about working out what you yourself need. I would not here telling you you need to be in bed by a certain time. I like to be in bed by 10 o'clock most nights, but that's me. That's my particular preference. That it's up to you. You find out what is your optimum amount. Children need more sleep. Children and young people need more sleep because their brains are still developing, and so children need anywhere between 9 and 12 hours a night. Now, I put my little boy, who you can see in the picture up there, I put him to bed quite late the other night and then tried getting him up early the next day. And he was just so grouchy all day. And I felt so bad for doing it because he didn't get enough sleep. He really didn't get enough sleep. And I could see everything that I've been reading about sleep and about how it affects our mood, how it affects our behavior, how it affects how much we want to engage with the world. I could see it all in front of me and my little 6-year-old on Saturday, because he didn't get enough sleep and he was miserable for most of the day. And it was a real shame because we'd had a nice day planned, which is why I got him up early. So the irony of that was quite hard to bear, that I actually spoiled our nice day by getting him up too early to enjoy our nice day. So children need much more sleep. So if you have a child who's often grumpy, maybe it just means that they need more sleep. So there's something that might be worth investigating if you have grouchy children. So I was talking about sleep to a friend of mine the other day, and I was saying about this discovery that I'd had about not getting enough sleep. And he said, well, maybe you could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning most days, but then once a week have a lie-in. And that doesn't work. You can't fight sleep deprivation with an extended lie-in. You can't sort of run on 5 hours a night, 6 days a week, and then have a lie-in and expect your body to thank you for that. If you are suffering from sleep deprivation, then you do need to kind of catch up. Sleep debt, I've seen that referred to as, if you are lacking in sleep, then it is a good idea to try and allow yourself to have a good sleep, to try and sort of refresh yourself a little. But that is not a sustainable way to sort of plan out your life. If you're not getting enough sleep, you need to increase the amount of sleep you get. You can't just rely on having one lie-in a week and expect that that's going to be okay. So we need to look at how to make sure that we get good quality sleep, and how to make sure that we get into sleep at the time that we need to get to sleep, and that when we're asleep, we're actually getting good quality sleep. Now, if you're going to bed at night and your mind is really busy and you're very stressed and you're very anxious and your body is really physically stressed and tense, the chances are you're going to struggle to get to sleep. And B, when you eventually do get to sleep, you're probably not going to have the most restful sleep you can possibly have. Now, this is, I think, where yoga came in to be really helpful for me in my own personal journey to getting better sleep, as well as all the other improvements I made in my life, because it enabled me to learn techniques to help my mind to relax, to help my body to relax. And that is what I want to teach you tonight. Now, as you might see, I'm sitting on my bed. So the physical practices that I was going to show you, I'm not going to be able to really do here, but I have got videos, which I'll talk about to you, but then I'm going to send you a link to the videos that are on YouTube. They're not paid for videos, so I'm just going to refer you on to something else. But first of all, I wanted to talk about some practices that you could start doing to help to sort of get your mind into a more bedtime kind of mindset when it's time for bed. So there are lots of things around creating a good evening routine, and obviously a good night's sleep is a lot easier to get if you are in a good bedtime routine, if you have a nice calm quiet evening routine that gets you in the mindset of bed. Now, these will all vary from person to person. What works for one person would be just the most ridiculous suggestion in the world for another person. But there are some common ideas that are backed up by experts who've done research on these things, and some are, I'm going to suggest some things that are practices that I do, which I find very helpful as well. So one of the things that experts have identified as being a big problem that we're all experiencing, and a big one of the reasons why we might be struggling to sleep, is these amazing devices that we're all carrying around with us. So this is my tablet, and I've actually got this webinar on here so I can keep an eye on the chat box. So most of us spend most of our evenings looking at some form of screen, and these screens are massively, hugely responsible for causing us sleep problems, partly because we're spending longer on them than we should at night. I know I'm guilty of that sometimes. I will go on my be on my computer for at least an hour later than I intended to be sometimes. I very often now, if I'm later putting Marcus to bed at night, I won't even put my computer on now, figuring that I'm probably going to be better doing whatever it is that I need to do in the morning rather than staying up too late and not getting enough sleep. So I very often don't put my computer on, but I have got that tablet and I have got a phone, so I'm never far away from my my gadgets anyway. But where these are really problematic for us is the light that they emit. And you can see it here. You can actually see the light that this device is giving off. It's really quite bright. And even if I was to put my Kindle on, which I quite often will, I love to read, and I quite often read books on my Kindle. But even if I put my Kindle on, that is giving off a tremendous amount of light. And that's even before the book comes on. So you see that I've got it on the dark setting, but those words are very, very bright. Now, I've been in bed sometimes, and I like this because I can leave my bedroom light off. My light is just there behind me. It's not a million miles away from me. But I don't have to worry about if I fall asleep with the light on. So I have this, but I find this light in the dark too bright. I find it hurts my eyes when I'm very tired. So I really, I've learned now that actually this doesn't work for me at bedtime. So I now will pick up my book, which is this is my current book, which if you're looking for a really good book, I recommend this. It's a fantastic read. So I now read this, and I just read, and if I read 2 pages and then have to turn my light off, well, that's fine. That means I'm ready to sleep, and that's good. So try and avoid taking your gadgets to bed with you. I now try not to have them in my bedroom with me, because it's too easy to get caught up in, oh, I'll just check Facebook, I'm just going to read the news, I'm just going to whatever, and if I can't sleep, I very often will think, oh, I'll put something on Netflix then, and then I fall asleep watching Netflix about this far away from my face, which doesn't make for a good night's sleep. So if it's at all possible for you to do it, try taking your phone out of the bedroom and leave your phone out of your bedroom, leave your Nexus out of the bedroom, leave your laptop. Don't have devices in your bedroom that can distract you and give off this light. That the light itself that comes from our phones and our laptops and everything, that gives off a light that interferes with our melatonin production. The melatonin is the hormone that helps us to go to sleep. But the light in those devices interferes with the production of that. It actually tells our brain it's light. It's like it's daytime. So it interferes with our ability to actually fall asleep in the first place. So try and take your gadgets out of the bedroom. Try and have, if you need an alarm clock, get a little plug-in clock radio or an old-fashioned clock with the hands, and just try and get yourself into that technology-free space in your bedroom. I find I sleep a lot better when I don't have them, whether that's in my mind or if it is just better not having them around, I don't know, but I find I sleep a lot better without them. Before you get into to your bedroom, though, there are obviously ways that you can help to create a better routine. Things like now soak in the bath with some lavender oil, some candles, that kind of thing to help yourself relax. Don't eat too late at night, because if you're eating, obviously your body is digesting food. Food gives us energy. You're not going to sleep when you've just got newly created energy. And also, of course, if you eat something late that is going to cause your body to maybe give yourself some wind or give yourself a bit of heartburn or have some kind of negative impact on your body, then that is going to stop you from being able to sleep as well. Herbal teas I find very good for sleeping. A nice glass of herbal tea. I drink my herbal teas out of this. So if you see me drinking this, it's not a pint of beer. It's actually red bush tea. So I drink one of those before I go to bed. Another routine, another thing that is a good practice to get into every night, if it works for you, is gratitude and journaling, writing down the day's events, writing down what is good about the day, writing down what worked for you today, what made you feel good today. Take yourself to bed with that positive focus in your mind, and then it's a lot harder for those little gremlins to pop up and say, oh, do you remember when this awful thing happened? And do you remember when you said this stupid thing 25 years ago? And the things that those sleep gremlins do to try and stop you going to sleep, it's a lot easier. If you kind of emptied your brain of the day's events a little bit, it's a lot easier to relax and go to sleep then. Other practices that are very good are things like reading at bedtime. I personally, I love books, so I find reading very relaxing. Unless, of course, you get a really good book that you can't put down, and then that can sometimes have the opposite effect. But I find reading in bed very relaxing. And it also creates that routine feeling. So, you know, when I know that when I've got my pajamas on, I'm in bed and I'm there in my book, it's bedtime. I find when I'm putting my little boy to bed, because I'm Amazon, I get into bed with him and I start reading. My brain thinks it's bedtime then, so I'll very often will be ready for bed by the time I finish putting him to bed, because I've had that story time, I've had that reading time, and my brain associates reading in bed with going to bed. So I've created that association, which means that as soon as I start reading at night, I find it very easy to then drift off and go to sleep. We all have different routines, different preferences. You might find a cup of hot chocolate works. You might find that you have a particular series of exercises that you like to do. You might have particular rituals that you like to do every night. But it's creating that association in your brain as much as anything else, that these are the things you do at bedtime. And so then your brain knows then, like, oh, so it's bedtime. We're doing this, therefore it must be bedtime. So there's, you know, that does depend on you. It is all about you finding what works for you. And I can't tell you this is the way to do it, because it won't necessarily work for you the way it works for me. There are some physical practices that you can do that will help if you're feeling very tense. and that will stop you. That'll stop you from sleeping. So if you're feeling very tense and sort of highly strung, very wired, there are some practices that you can do to help to release that tension in your body, which will help you to get a better sleep, will help you to relax more, help you get to sleep easier, and help you to be asleep easier when you're there. So these are called jattis, and I'm going to share the jattis into the chat box. How can I do? Oh, I will share the link to the jattis in the chat box with you. So these jattis are exercises that I do when I teach a class, when I teach a yoga class. These jattis are the way that we start the class to release the physical tension in the body. So they're a very good practice for releasing physical tension. You can do them for as long or as little as you would like. 10 minutes of jattis every evening will be a very, very powerful way to release tension in your body. So if you do feel very tense, very physically tense, these are great. It's just simple things like loosening your shoulders, and shaking your head from side to side, and loosening the legs, loosening the arms. They are very powerful, very, very powerful exercises. It feels like you're not doing an awful lot really, but if you do those for a couple of weeks, you'll start to really notice a difference in your body. You'll start to notice a difference in your flexibility, and you will notice that you feel a lot less tense, because we carry so much tension in our body. That when we release that tension, it obviously helps us to relax a little more. So another practice that I'm going to share the video of is called throwing out. Now, throwing out is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant practice for helping to release tension. And that is one where we're literally throwing our tension away. We sort of shake all around the body, stirring up our tension and our negativity, and then we breathe in, catching it all in, and we release with a big whoosh. And you do that a few times, and then you let your arms rest with your eyes closed, and you just focus on your breath. And it is an amazing technique for releasing tension. It's not just good for using at bedtime. It is very good for using at bedtime, but it's also very good for in the morning. It's good for any time that anybody is sort of stressing you out and life is getting to you and you need to just release, and it's either that or start screaming at people. It's a very good technique to help to release tension at any time of day. So it's a very good one for just at bedtime, because it does give you that release of tension. So those are two practices that you can do before you get into bed. You can do them in your pajamas, you can do them in your bedroom. They would take you 10 minutes, and then that would get rid of the tension of the day. So if you were to combine that with 5 or 10 minutes of gratitude and journaling, then you will offload such a lot of stress from your mind and your body before you get into bed. And you would probably find just from that you get a better night's sleep. So those are some techniques that I wanted to share with you about how to create a better evening routine and how to release physical tension. I want to talk you through a relaxation now. This relaxation that I'm going to talk you through is a very powerful relaxation, and it is one that it's available. I've done it as an MP3. It's available on SoundCloud, and I will make the link available to you after this so that you can access it. If you can't access the recording, because I know somebody who's using her phone only struggled to be able to access it because SoundCloud kept wanting to take her to the app that they have, and it was she struggled to find it then. So if you do have a problem with accessing the recording on SoundCloud, then just let me know and I can drop you a copy of it that you can just download straight onto your device. But this relaxation is Yoga Nidra. Now you might have heard of Yoga Nidra. It is one that a lot of you yoga teachers talk about, and it is a very, very, very powerful form of relaxation. It's a conscious sleep, so it's not a sleep. If you need sleep, you will probably fall asleep when we're doing this relaxation. But the aim of it is for you to stay awake. So yoga relaxation, generally, you're supposed to stay awake for. Because it's about relaxing the mind while keeping it conscious. So your mind learns that it is relaxed. And so you relax the body completely, but the mind stays conscious. So the mind knows that you're relaxing. And when the mind knows that you're relaxing, you learn what relaxation is. And you find the more you practice conscious sleep, conscious relaxation, the more you become relaxed most of the time. It enables your body to just, your mind to just be calm and relaxed more often. So during Yoga Nidra, the mind becomes aware of itself. We have this awareness of awareness, which is the fourth stage of awareness in yoga, which is a very high level of awareness. So it's a very powerful, very, very powerful relaxation. And it is said that 20 minutes of Yoga Nidra, which is what we're going to be doing now, will offer you all the physical and mental benefits of 8 hours of deep sleep. So if you do struggle to get a good sleep, if you can clear 20 minutes to half an hour of your day, you can do this Yoga Nidra and you can get the benefits of a good full night's sleep. So it's a very, very powerful practice. And I'm going to talk you through this relaxation now, but I would like you to, I'm going to just keep talking while I would like you, if possible, to lie down and get a blanket over yourselves. Make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. So if you've got family around you, try and persuade them to leave you alone for the next 20 minutes. And lie down either on the floor or on the sofa or on your bed, somewhere flat. So you don't want to be on too many pillows. You don't want to be sitting up. You don't want to be lying on something that doesn't allow you to relax your body completely. You want to be able to lie down straight and relax your body completely. And then you're going to come into Shavasana, which involves having your legs straight with your heels together and your feet are sort of flopped outwards. So your feet are nice and relaxed, but they're kept, your ankles are together. And you're going to bring the palms of the arms alongside the body with your palms pointing upwards. So the palms are facing to the ceiling. Make sure that your body is in a nice straight line with your head in a nice straight line. And just bring the chin gently to the chest. Not right the weight, but just to straighten. Make sure that the back of your neck is nice and straight. So when your body is in a nice straight position, you're going to start to just focus your mind on your breath. Breathing in deeply. And out. Breathing in for a count of 6. And breathe out. Breathe in. And out. We're going to just keep breathing slowly and deeply, keeping the mind focused on the breath completely. Just keep breathing, feeling your body starting to relax, feeling your muscles become softer and more relaxed, feeling your body Getting deeper and deeper into relaxation. Keep breathing slowly and deeply. Finding that beautiful feeling of relaxation forming on your body. We're going to take your awareness down to your toes now. Take your awareness down to your toes and allow the toes to relax. Taking your awareness now to the soles of the feet and the top of the feet, the ankles and the heels, and relax. Moving your awareness now up the shins, relaxing the calf muscles as you go. Moving past the knees, up the thighs, relaxing the thighs. Now move up and relax the buttocks. And then moving up again, relaxing the hips and the lower back. Relaxing the pelvic area. And now moving your awareness to your abdomen, relaxing your abdomen. Moving to the spine, moving up the spine, relaxing every muscle in the spine. Up to the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders. And then moving to the chest, relaxing the chest, all the muscles in the chest. Taking your awareness now down to the fingers and the thumbs, relax. And then move into the rest of the hands, relax. Moving past the wrists, up the arms, the lower arms to the elbows, and relax. Then moving up to the upper arms, and relax. Coming back to the shoulders and the collarbone, and relax. And then moving up to the neck and the throat, and relax. Moving now up to the jaw. Allow the jaw to relax. Moving your awareness now to the mouth. The tongue to relax. Moving your awareness now up to the area around the nose and the eyes. Relax. And then taking your awareness up to your forehead. Relax. Moving now behind the ears. Relax. And moving now to the back of the head. Relax. Coming now to the top of the head and relax. And then taking your awareness between your eyebrows. Just keep your focus there for a couple of moments. Feeling your whole body deeply relaxed. We're now going to move into Yoga Nidra. Take your awareness now to the solar plexus. And visualize energy in the solar plexus moving in a clockwise direction in a tiny circle, the solar plexus. Keep that energy moving in the clockwise direction. And then imagine the energy space increasing so that the energy is moving in a circle the size of the thimble top. Keep it moving in a clockwise direction. Then increase the size of the energy circle so that it is the size of the rim of a teacup. Now taking the energy ring to the size of a saucer, keeping moving Keep it going in a clockwise circle, keeping focused on the energy. And now we're going to expand that energy so that it's the size of a dinner plate. It's still moving in a clockwise direction. Now it's covering the rib cage and the top of the pelvic area. Keep that circle moving. Now we're going to increase the size of the circle of energy gradually until it fills the space between the mid-chest and the pubic bone. Keep that circle going in a clockwise direction. Now you feel the circle growing again. It's going to take in the bottom of the neck and the middle of the thighs. The circle is getting bigger and bigger, but it's still moving in a clockwise direction. Now imagine that the circle is extending to the chin at the top, into the shins at the bottom, still moving in a clockwise direction. And now we're going to extend the circle to take in the top of the head and the base of the feet, still moving in a clockwise direction. And now we're going to take the circle to the point 6 inches above the head and 6 inches below the feet. Continue to circle the energy between these 2 points. Keep moving in a clockwise direction. Keep focused on that circle. Don't sleep. Stay awake. Keep going. Now we're going to take your awareness and hold that energy at the top point of the circle. You're going to hold it there for at least 30 seconds. Keep focused on all that energy. All that energy is now at that top point above your head. You're feeling very relaxed. Your whole body, your whole mind deeply relaxed as that energy is held 6 inches above your head. You're staying conscious and aware at all times. Keep your mind focused on that energy above your head. Don't fall asleep. Stay awake. Stay with me. Keep focusing on that circle of energy. Stay relaxed. Keeping focused on that point. Keep focusing on that point. Stay with the circle of energy. Stay with the energy at the top of the head. Now we're going to start to reverse the circle. So beginning to reverse the circle now back through the stages that we just went through. We're keeping the circle moving now in an anti-clockwise direction. So circling between the 6 inches above your head and 6 inches below your feet. Keep that circle moving in an anti-clockwise direction around your whole being. Now we're going to bring the circle in a little, so it's taking into the top of the head and the base of the feet, still moving in an anti-clockwise direction. And then we're going to bring the circle down a little bit more to take in the eyebrows at the top and the ankles at the bottom. Keeping it moving, keeping that circle of energy moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Staying awake, staying conscious. Now we're imagining that the circle is coming in to take in the chin at the top and the shins at the bottom. Keep it moving in that clockwise direction. And then we're bringing the circle down a little more, so it's now coming up to the bottom of the neck and the middle of the thighs. And then we shrink it a little more. It's now filling the space between the mid-chest and the pubic bone. Still moving in that anti-clockwise direction. Now we take the energy down to the size of a saucer. Still moving in that anti-clockwise direction. And now we bring it down a little more, so it's the size of a teacup. Still moving in that anti-clockwise direction. And then it's smaller again to the size of a thimble top. And then we're bringing it back to the solar plexus. And we're going to imagine screwing that energy back in. We've had that energy now is expanded to cover the whole of our being. And we've got it all now in a tiny little pinprick in the body. We're going to screw that energy back in very, very tightly. So it's back into the body, all that energy in the body. And we're just going to relax now for the next 10 minutes. We're just going to enjoy the relaxation. I will come back to you in 10 minutes to finish the relaxation. So enjoy your moment of relaxation for 10 minutes. Okay, it's time to come back now. So if you take a deep breath, wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, and then roll over onto your left side and curl up. Stay curled up for a few moments. Letting the body come around slowly. And then we're going to roll over onto the left hand, and roll over onto the belly. Forehead on your hands. Your head is slightly elevated. Coming up nice and slowly. Breathe slowly and deeply as you let your body come around. Let your mind come round. And then when you're ready, slowly push up. Come up into a seated position. I'm going to end this webinar with the Shanti mantra, which I like to end all my classes with. It's a universal prayer for peace, for all living things. It's something that I think we need to do more often in this world now and always. So I'm just going to chant this for you now. So if you would like to close your eyes. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti 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 Om. And that's the end of the webinar. So I hope that you enjoyed that and that you got a lot from it. The relaxation in particular, I imagine, might have been helpful. I'm here at the end of email if you would like to talk any more about relaxation, sleep. You can join me on Facebook at Balance and Breathe. You can check out my website, balanceandbreathe.co.uk. And you can join my Centred Superwoman group, which is facebook.com/groups/Centred Superwoman, where I share more tips and things like this about how to live a happy centered life. So I've really enjoyed speaking with you tonight, and I hope that you've got a lot from it. And like I said, get in touch if I can help you anymore. Obviously this is what I do. So yeah, get in touch and let's see if I can help you. So sleep well, and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.